Welcome, everybody, to episode 1 of Lightin the Lamp. I'm your host, Dola, Flo Dola, as you can see, or Beer Dola. It all works. It don't matter. And always with me from the East Coast is my PIC, my partner in crime, Mr. Jinta, JG. How we doing on the East Coast? Living in the Mecca of the United States.
How are we, bud? Another beautiful week in Jersey, 95 degrees, 90% humidity. Great week at work, burnt up, tired. But I got to tell you, bud, playoff hockey is about 12 hours away. And I've been roster baiting for a week. I mean, that's basically where we're at. And, I just want to see how you're doing out here today, bud. What do we got on the West Coast?
I got to say, always loving the Gold Coast. Blessing to be out here. Been hitting the beaches, the last few weeks. Took the pooch out to the dog beach for the first time. Absolutely loved it. But I got to say, I'm just like you, man. The little guy's been tucked up into the belt strap all week. I just haven't been able to have it sticking down the leg. Every time I walk around, I'm bumping into something just because hockey's coming back, man. And I haven't been so fucking excited in so long. And, just even more so than that, I'm excited to be on episode 1 of Lightin the Lamp with you, and happy we finally got the pieces in place and we're moving forward. And I'm jacked, dude. I'm really jacked up.
Listen, it's something we've been talking about for a long time. We've been working on this, talking about it for months now, and finally came to fruition here. And right in the middle of playoff hockey, by the way, one day before my birthday. Did you ever think you'd be watching playoff hockey on my birthday in the middle of August? It's the first time and a last time for everything, but I'm excited.
First time and a last time for everything. But guess what? This is going to be the first time you're going to be 29 and the last time you're going to be in your 20s, baby. So you better enjoy it to the fullest, my man, and you better love it. But happy birthday, sir. A few of these are going to be popping for you, and you're definitely going to be enjoying some hockey on your birthday, and it's going to be a great time. But before we get into actually talking hockey, because we're a couple hockey players, one thing we do well is drink beer. And I know we're going to do a little drinking on this podcast. We're going to be getting the boys going. We're going to be lighting the lamp. And so what kind of beer you got going over there, Joe? Let's put a beer in the book.
Today I'm actually representing my boys on the Gold Coast, Port Brewing, San Marcos, California. Last week we started with a little Jersey beer. So today, we're going to take it out to your coast. We're going to light it up a little bit with this 7% IPA and get the boys buzzing here.
Dude, I love it. When I'm a beer league specialist, when I'm strapping up the pads about to go live the men's league dream, I'm usually popping back a few natties so I can go get a hattie. But you know what? I'm going to pay homage and respect to Anheuser-Busch. It doesn't get more American-made than Budweiser, and what's better than a tall boy diesel coming at you, my man. So just like I used to do when we were kids, I'm going to put this down in one, and I hope you're doing the same. But in order to do this, I'm going to drink out of Das Boot here. So I'm going to get it going, pour it in, get it down, and we're going to be firing. We're going to be off, and I'm going to light this lamp right after we're done here, Joey.
Love to hear it, pal. Love to hear it. This is a usual occurrence for Mr. Beardola. I've been watching this since we're about 12 years old. Yes, 16 years. Yes, we were underage by 9 years, but, that's what you do when you play hockey.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I bought more underage booze than people buy in their lifetime, in their adult lifetime.
Very true.
All right, Joe. Well, cheers. Off to our adventure, man. Here we go.
Salud, episode 1. That worked out for us, boys. Das Boot.
There you go, fans. It's going, baby, and we are lighting the lamp here. Oh, my God.
It is go time.
Oh, we're excited. We're pumped up. We're fresh. Beer in the books. Mike's hot. It's time, Joe. Let's light the lamp. Let's talk some hockey, all right?
Well, you never ask, pal.
I got to say, Joe, one thing I want to ask before we get in, as we're getting into it, why did, I came to you with this idea. I one day called you up. I was like, Mr. Jinta, I want to start a hockey podcast. I want to talk to people more about hockey. I want to bring hockey content to the world. And I don't think you could sign up faster. You're like, dude, don't even don't even talk anymore. I'm already signed up. I'm already on top of this. We have so many ideas. You're already fired. You're already ready to go. Tell the fans why you wanted to get into this podcasting.
So, I mean, for me, first of all, when you ask, this is a long friendship down the line, and it has to do with hockey. So bringing hockey content to anybody is an amazing thing. But more than anything, we listen to Spittin' Chicklets. Sometimes you hear the John Scott podcast. Those guys made millions playing hockey. They're unbelievable people. They're great to listen to. But I want to bring a sense of relation to the has-beens, the never-wases, the guys like us that wasted their life. Not wasted, because we made friendships and we did a lot of great things along the way. We learned invaluable lessons. It was amazing. But I want to bring an element that the other guys like us, that we did 22 years of hockey, nothing but hockey, and we fell short. Completely short. Not even really. I mean, we played with good guys, but we really never came close. And it hurts, and you don't know where to go when you're done. And you know, it's a different feeling than a lot of people go through. When you're 22, usually you're graduating college. Me, I was going to college at 21 because I had played junior, hoping for something different, and you know, I didn't get it. So I kind of want to bring just a different element to the hockey content. You're hearing it from the NHL point of view. Let's hear it from our point of view, who did the same thing and didn't make it.
Sure. And, you know, one thing, you know, I want to echo everything you just said enough, but I mean, even just, you know, I consume a little football content. I watch some New York Giants stuff because I'm a G-Men fan. You know, I watch someone that's called The Entertainer talking sports out on the East Coast, you know, shout out to him. But it's just like, you know, football, a lot of content. Fantasy football, a lot of content. Basketball, a lot of content. Fucking NASA, SpaceX, a lot of content. Like, you can get into anything, DIY, a lot of content. There is a void in the hockey universe of content. There is not enough people talking about hockey outside of the NHL network or the team's own broadcasting systems. And honestly, it's kind of a travesty because you and I know there is a hockey community out there, dude. You go across the country, I don't know how it happens. It's almost like we're magnetic. Hockey players find each other. Hockey families find each other, dude. You could be in a bar. I mean, someone spots me with the hair flying, and they're like, "Bro, you played hockey in your lifetime." It's like, "Of course I did." It's like, "Great, let's grab a beer." I mean, Joe, I remember I visited you over in New York. We ended up with some guys in New York just shooting the shit, talking hockey in a Chinese food restaurant. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, you just find people everywhere. And it's amazing that there's not more people talking about it or on the internet talking about it or just sharing their opinions or getting involved, getting engaged. And hopefully we can bring not only just that element that you talked about, but just, you know, filling the void, you know, filling the fucking void.
100%, Tim. I couldn't agree more. There just literally is nothing but content all over the internet. And you got minimal hockey. And you know what? Hockey's been a small community for a long time, but for the last 10, 15 years, especially in America, hockey is on the uptick. It's huge. Kids are playing it everywhere. You know, you got guys like Messier building rinks in the Bronx to bring people from different communities into the game. The game is growing, and there's not enough people showing that on these podcasts, on the internet. There's not enough content. Spittin' Chicklets and John Scott, I love them. I follow them. I always listen. But there's just not – for me, I could listen to hockey content from 7 a.m. until I get out of work. Headphones in, I'll work all day just like that, and helps me get through the day. And I run out every day. And to me, you can't run out of football. You can't run out of basketball. You can't run out of baseball. But you run out of what I love, and now we need to step in and fill the void, like you said. I couldn't agree with you more.
I love it. I love it. So, you know, I want to just talk to people, you know, just to help people understand, you know, a little bit more about our relationship. Obviously, they can garner from what we've been talking about that we've met through our beloved sport. But really, you know, it's kind of like more of an interesting story. So, you know, back then I was the captain and stud of the New Jersey Colonials AAA hockey team. I think I was about 12, 13 at the time. Crosstown rivals over in Bridgewater, New Jersey Rockets, tough organization, had some of the greatest talent ever to play in New Jersey, all go up to the NHL. John Carlson, James Van Riemsdyk,
Best defenseman in the NHL.
Two very good points of, you know, great talent coming out of the Rockets. He was on the Rockets, and we were adversaries at first, met through a mutual friend. Started hanging out. I joined the Rockets the next year. We had 2 great years. 1 year under Pete Herms, legendary coach out of Seton Hall.
Hermsy.
Pete Herms, triangle and one, baby, triangle and one.
Left wing lock. Left wing lock.
Neutral zone trap.
Yes. What a fucking year.
And then a year under Gary Goshevsky and Mark Hurley, which were two of my, favorite coaches. I mean, they were hard-nosed coaches, gritty guys.
They played for you.
And they played my style of hockey, just really hard-nosed, two guys that attack, get after the puck, dump and chase, but just beat other guys and just wanted more. Then you and I both left the Rockets, went over to New Jersey Wildcats, played some juniors for a year. You and I both lit it up. We're, I think, all-stars.
Best season of my life, the All-Star game in Binghamton, baby. What a weekend.
I think I put up 52 points in like 35, 36 games, not even mentioning I was probably one of the highest points in playoffs, or was one of the guys with the most points in playoffs that year in nationals. And I mean, those 3 years, you talk about everything you go through on the ice. We were 15 years old playing against men in juniors, 20-year-old men on our team that was 19, 20-year-old men, studs, huge, just dudes already through puberty. And I think you and I hadn't even
I don't even think we got there yet.
I don't think we were quite at the same level as they are. But, we went a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, I could say, went into just those 3 seasons. But then think about the Jersey Shore trips. I lived in your basement for I think a few months, partying in Vegas, bachelor parties. We stood up in each of each other's weddings. Now, fast forward, right? 16 years later, this game has fostered a friendship that has spanned so long. And, it feels more like a lifetime than 16 years. I'll tell you that all the time.
100%.
But I gotta say, it's been a pleasure. But the fact that this sport, was the concrete or what brought us together is truly special. I gotta say.
100%, Tim. I couldn't agree with you more. For me, I mean, and you and I, we're one of the 50,000 friendships garnered in that time in this sport. We're not the only two people that have been friends for 16 years. This happens across the sport. It's an unbelievable community. You can't beat it. I mean, listen, it's hockey. It's fucking hockey. We're here to talk hockey. We're here to talk how we came together. And you did a pretty good job of going through everything except for my penalty minutes at the Wildcats because, 34 points in 36 games and 213 PIMs, pretty unbeatable stats for a 5'4" D-man, if you ask me. I don't know, but 213 or 234 PIMs in what 35? It was one of the two, but I had 34 points in 36 games along with those 213
Dude,
PIMs. So imagine what I could have done outside the box.
I think I would have had more points if you weren't in the box. I think you basically put a glass ceiling on me being in the box because I had to do it all myself when you weren't on the ice, man. You made it hard.
Absolutely. But, listen, I couldn't agree with everything you've had to say more. It's been 16 years of fucking blood, sweat, and tears across the way. Hockey all the way through to the wedding. Had each other's backs forever. And that's really what brings us here today, man. We have an understanding about life, about the game, and we love this game more than most things in life, and I think that's what's going to make this a great fucking podcast, man.
If the wives are listening, you definitely win.
I said most things. Most. I have a wife outside. She counts more.
Dogs make it too. You got 2 beautiful pups, man. So, Vegas too, a couple Vegas trips in the books too. Probably one of our other favorite meetups, favorite hangouts. The Las Vegas Knights Arena.
Jersey Shore, number 1.
Jersey Shore, number 1. Vegas, number 2.
No, other than the Jersey Shore, that's got to be Vegas number 2. Jersey Shore was, a lifetime, bro. 10 years of same shit every summer, 2 weeks, rolling around with not a care in the world. Maybe the occasional skate down at Brick. We bring the equipment, get a practice in. And other than that, nothing but drinking beers and chasing girls. Sorry, Alex. I'm sorry. But, it was a heck of a 16 years, and we hopefully got another 40 of these to go and about another 300 of these podcasts on the way. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that, my man. Miss Genta, it's been a beautiful run, but you and I, let's get into it. We're both sporting some beauty Rangers gear. I got to say, I love the Gretzky jersey in the back. Love the Rangers lid. I love the rain jacket. Got it myself, the little pullover. I got it. I'll probably rock it on this podcast or video once or twice. But let's talk some Rangers. Why do we love the Rangers? Where did it all start from you? What's let's get into it.
I mean, listen, first of all, obviously I was born and raised a Ranger fan. Father's from the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and there was nothing else. I was born, and a stick was put in my hand, a Ranger jersey was put on me, and since that day, I've bled blue. I believed in blue. I bled blue. I get a boner for blue. I mean, I can't. There's not there's not many things that get me more hard than turning on a New York Rangers hockey game on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, or showing up in the Garden to scream "Pop Man sucks," even though he hasn't played in 30-something years. I mean, it doesn't. It's the greatest organization in sports history. I don't care what anybody tells me. I love the Yankees, 27 championships. You could keep them. The Rangers are better. There's no better thing than the New York Rangers in my life.
Well, I would just say there's no better thing to chase than Lord Stanley's Cup. It's the oldest trophy in the world. The Rangers are an original six team that doesn't get more prestigious than both those titles. You're original six hockey club in the NHL, and you're chasing the oldest trophy ever created. Sounds like what I want to be doing, and you're in the mecca of the world. I'm in, baby. I'm freaking in. But let's I'm going to hit you with a tough one out of the gate. We're going to light the lamp early. You're going to bring it hot to our fans, and they want to hear what you got to say. I already know they want to hear what you got to say, but I want to hear who is your, I would say, top six Rangers. Like, we'll include the Tendy in the six or in the starting lineup in terms of who's up, and who's your top five Rangers on the same team in the same year of all time.
I mean, you kill me here because obviously I'm going to pick a 94 Rangers line. Obviously, there's a few guys I could have probably weaseled in instead of some of the guys on this line. But this was bang for your buck in the playoffs in 94. Probably some of the best hockey playing you've seen. And for me, it's Mark Messier, Mike Gardner. I got Leach, Bukaboom, and you got to give me – man, this is tough. This is tough. I'm going to give me Messier with Richter on the back end.
The 94 Rangers, the studs. The people that made us believe. I mean, Messier, an understatement. Mike Richter,
Captain, my
second
captain.
of all time. Kovalev. I mean, Brian Leach is still one of the best defensemen of all time. Probably the person who, before Ray Bourque, even coined the offensive defenseman, right? But you got me with the Gardner thing. I was not expecting Gardner. Honestly, I would have pegged you for a Graves guy. Honestly, if it was my 94 team, I'm picking Graves all day. You're not getting more of that big body on the ice, maybe protecting Messier, but guess what? I still love Graves' playmaking ability and how he was a chippy guy too, dude. He didn't not scrap or get in there either, but that's just
I'm a Graves guy. You know how I like to play. I love Adam Graves. For me, that line in the playoffs, they did a lot. Mike Gardner was a veteran pickup on a up and coming team where Tony Amonte was on that team. I mean, think about some of the Rangers on that team. Tony Amonte was on that team in 94. Guy turned out to be a stud. I could have put Tony on that line. Graves, 52 goals, 27 assists, 79 points that year. That's a year as a 25-year-old winning the cup. I mean, doesn't get much better than that. I know he could have been on the line, but for me, Gardner was that veteran pickup for winning the cup. They got him to fill a veteran void. They put him on a line with Mark Messier. I mean, to me, it just worked. It clicked. Graves was great. Graves was better than Gardner for sure. That's not even a question. But
okay.
To me, that five, you asked my top five on a line at one time. To me, in the playoffs, Gardner, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points over the course of that playoffs, playing with those guys. He chipped in. He was a big body out there in front of the net, in the corners, hard-nosed, and a veteran. And that's why I slide him in there as much as you had Tony Amonte and Adam Graves and plenty of other guys, Alexei Kovalev along the list. I mean, there's plenty of guys could have filled that spot.
You had Kovalev on your list. You had him on there. But, I mean, again, I would echo your point. Chemistry means everything, right? And you can't all be Kane out there. Not everyone can be Patrick Kane. You need to have, like, an Andrew Shaw. You need to have someone – or Andrew Ladd, Saad, don't matter. You need a guy that's going to be in that corner, punching someone in the face, going to get that puck, and finding Kane when he's in the sweet spot right at the freaking hash marks, and he's going to rip it top shelf or bring it backhand and flow one, right? I agree. You definitely need some chemistry. I love that team. I feel for me, it's just a little bit about nostalgia. And unfortunately, you and I didn't actually get to watch that team win the cup. I mean,
Young.
we were pretty lucky though that we got to see like Boom, Messier, Kovalev, and Graves. They were all on the team for a while. Like they were young, and I think we watched. I mean, Messier wasn't that young, but we watched a lot of those guys, play until like 97, 98, almost up to 2000. I think they were all still kicking around the league.
Messier played for a while. He played into the 2000s.
Kovalev did too. I think Boom and Gartner were already gone, but all those guys were still
late into the 90s. But I mean, we had a good run with them. It was unfortunate you're not really remembering the cup, but it was a great run. Those were the main Rangers that brought me up. Leach, Messier, Graves. Those guys made it. Remember when the Statue of Liberty jersey came out? That's when we were really watching hockey, when the Statue of Liberty jersey came out. 10 years old. When Graves put that jersey on, it was the only jersey I wanted. Adam Graves. I wore 9 at the Rockets. You know that. So for me, Adam Graves, number 9, Statue of Liberty jersey. I got her tattooed on me. I mean, I only love her a little bit. So, those were the times for me. I mean, obviously, like you said, it's a lot of nostalgia with 94. There's a lot of guys now that, are going to be my Rangers forever when I talk to my kids and down the line in the future. But for me, that's just my line right there. I go back, I watch old footage, and it's just my kind of hockey.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I was going to say, if I was going to rebuttal again, just because if I was going with a team that I got to watch, someone that I just loved when I was just like, I thought we were going to win the cup. I just remember back to like 2012, 2013, 2014, that team.
Another great team.
When we won the President's Trophy, I mean, I'm thinking like Rick Nash, Martin St. Louis, Chris Kreider, Dan Girardi, Ryan McDonough, and then you put Hank in net 7 years ago. Dude, like I fucking love that team as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was just like a top 5 you could always count on back then. Because, I mean, Kreider, stud. I mean, Martin St. Louis, Hall of Famer. Even when he was 39, bro, he put up a lot of points for us.
I still never forget the goal he scored against Carey Price in overtime. Top corner, off the elbow, like a Nathan McKinnon. He didn't even look at it. He just let it rip, and he turned around, he swiped the ice with a knee, and he already knew the game was over. I mean, that was impressive for a 39-year-old midget.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like
hot take. St. Louis, you're a midget just like me, but you're a stud.
He was
millionaire stud.
He was amazing. His entire career, he was amazing, especially when he played with the Bolts with Vinny LeCavier and stuff like that. But, like, I'm saying, like, I love that. And Rick Nash, that year, I mean, that playoffs, like, when we went to the
great bad playoffs.
Great, but, like, he put up still, like, 85, 90 points that year in the regular season to bring us there. So he was a big part of that team. And also on the power play, Rick Nash was massive body in front of that net. He was a presence, and he knew how to use his size. He didn't hit anybody, but he still knew how to play and use his weight and protect the puck and do everything he needed to do. So, I mean, they never brought home the hardware. I mean, I feel like that's just one of Tortorella's things. Like, you know, like he always gets there, develops these great teams because that's when Torts was at the helm. But, you know, he gets denied a lot. He's kind of like Alain Vigneault, who was also the Rangers coach. You know, he's always in playoffs, right? Torts and Vigneault, they're in playoffs every year with whatever team they're with. They just never bring home.
They always lose in the cup.
They always lose in the cup or something. But they're two amazing coaches. I loved when they were with us. They put out great teams on the ice, teams to make you proud when you're a Rangers fan. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say that'd be definitely my 6 if that had to be it. You know what I mean?
100%. I mean, and then following on that, I guess we want to go into our top 10 here.
What are you saying? What? Explain that more. What are you thinking? Top 10 outside of our top 6, like all time? Like
I would go top 10. I'm going to include probably 5 of my 5. Gardner not included, but I'm going to include most of my top 5 line.
Really?
So, but yes, 100%.
Dude, I don't know. I got so many Rangers just that I love just to watch them. Like, it didn't even matter if they were a good hockey player or not. I just love when they hit the ice. I was paying attention. I just saw.
Let me hear. You have. I know because we've spoken before. A long list of Rangers that you could probably make a list of your top 25. So yeah, dude, let's hear your top 10 off the top. Whatever it is. Give me your top 10. I want to hear it.
Dude, let's just get wild. Sean Avery, Who doesn't love Sean?
Easily top 10 for me. So you got one of my guys already.
Gotta love Sean Avery. Outside of my top 6, I'd still go Brian Leach. Theo Fleury, baby. I loved having Theo Fleury on the Rangers.
Broke the hype barrier. For a guy like me, he's one of my idols.
Bro, he had so many things happen to him in his life. The fact that he's alive still to this
Great
day.
book, read it. Fire on Ice. No free ad reads.
If anybody wants to read a book out there, read Theo Fleury's biography, because what this guy went through to make it even to just the NHL is unbelievable. But then to succeed at his height in the NHL and be a tough son of a bitch doing it, because Theo Fleury is not just a guy that on the ice is going to punch you in the face. He was a guy out in bars getting into rips all the time.
Rough around the edges, man. He's my kind of guy. It's very similar to me. I mean, rough around the edges.
Yeah,
rough around the edges. But before we get too far off topic, let's head back into the top 10, because you and me do love to wander.
So I'm at 3. I had my 3. I had Avery, Leach, Fleury. I'm gonna go Matthew Barnaby, another tough son of a bitch, dude. He's another guy that put up a lot of
tough
points.
Customers.
He's gonna put up a lot of points, but he's gonna punch you in the face too, dude. He was a tough son of a bitch. He got into a lot of fights. And then just to cleanse the palate for you, just to get a little different, Anson Carter. Bet you're not expecting this, dude.
Wow, Anson Carter. Great hair,
excellent hair,
great personality. Mediocre hockey player on the Rangers at a bad time.
Excellent. I think he's great on. He's a great newscaster. He's great as a broadcaster.
He's an unbelievable hockey guy. He's
a great hockey guy.
To me, how you could put him in your top 10 Rangers at hair wise, top 5 Ranger. But I mean, play wise, you're gonna give him a top 10?
Come on, man. When I was a kid and I got to see a guy just rocking the dreads,
impressive. But
I mean, it was him. The two people he was like one of the only black guys in the league at the time. It was like him and George LaRock and Donald Brashear, bro. Like, give the guy a break. You know what I mean? But moving on from him, I would say Jaromir Jagr, because I got to throw Jagr onto the list. Even if Jagr was only there for a few years, he put up 100 points. Not everyone puts up 100
plus
for the boys in blue. So the fact that you did that for our team, Jagr, and somehow kept your life on the tracks. And honestly, it wasn't like you were young. You were like into your playing career. This was after the lockout. This is after you went to Russia, after you came back, and you still put up 100 points for us. I can't thank you enough for the time you spent with the Rangers, and just that you're one of the best buttes of all time in terms of the NHL. So cheers to you, Yogs, because
salute, Yogs. We love you.
Thank you for everything you've given us for over the years, because we cannot be more appreciative to everything you've done on ice. So what am I at? I'm at 6. I'm going to go Ryan Callahan. Ryan Callahan. Great one of our captain. Come on. I mean, he represented us so well. I don't know who I was with. It definitely wasn't college. It probably wasn't college. I think it was a little bit before that. But in college, I was already screaming his name. But I remember the playoffs. He came up as a two-way player from the Wolfpack. And I got to say, in that playoffs, he was like a fourth liner that you just loved. He was so gritty. He was so fat.
Him and Dubinsky were throwing the mitts out there. It was a regular season game, end of the year, and they got brought up before the playoff round. They played Pittsburgh in that round. Dubinsky actually did very well, and they were goons. They came up from Hartford. They put up a couple of points. They threw the mitts around. Definitely a great pick on the Callahan. I like that.
I loved Callahan, and even in playoffs, he showed up that year. You didn't expect him to, but he just showed up. He's like Brendan Lemieux now. He's just like that player you love that's on the ice, you know. He's just going to create some havoc and just maybe make something happen, score a goal, right? After that, I'm going to bring it back home to Messier and Adam Graves just because they weren't in the top 6. But, I mean, in terms of Rangers, if Leach, Messier –
9. Who you got next? Who's your 10th and final?
Peter Nedved.
Peter Nedved, an absolute stud, hooked on the Russian gas, always in trouble. Could have been an even better player than he was, but what a legendary son of a bitch.
So Peter Nedved will go down in history for me because it was the first time I was actually at the Garden. My dad took me – it wasn't the first time I was at the Garden, but it was the first time we had unbelievable seats, right, like almost up at the glass, right? And – it was, when the Rangers and everyone –
Shout out Haribo Gummy Bears.
What are you talking about?
Seats.
Oh
Your
no, it
dad
was
was a hero guy. I mean,
it
come
was
on. What do
no,
you
he
think
was
he got?
Nabisco.
You think he went out of fucking pocket for those? All right, shout out Nabisco.
Shout out
Sorry.
Nabisco. Yeah. Kraft, whatever they
Thanks
want
for
to
the
be.
seats. Appreciate him. You made my
Look,
friend Timmy the Ranger fan forever.
while we were at the game, it's the seats. You get the service. You're right in front of the glass.
Oh yeah.
Peter Nedved was, stick handling, threw a puck over the glass. I had to wrestle it away from a couple other kids, but it wasn't a problem. Pop one, pop two, no big deal. Grabbed the puck, but I still have the puck that Peter Nedved gave me. So I got to include him. I always loved that line, the Peter Nedved, Radek Dvorak, Jan Hlavik check line that put up like 200 points together one
That line was
season.
incredible.
Bro, it was them. It was Theo Fleury, and then you had Leach as the top 5 in points. But that line is like a line today. It's like when you have like, you know, Panarin, Strome, and or Kreider, Zibanejad, and someone else. When they're putting up each 50, 60 points, and then all of a sudden you have 200 points between a line. Or just think of Pasternak, Bergeron, or Marchand. 3 of those guys together.
350 points a year.
Yeah, like 350 points a year. But that's what I mean. Like it's just a stud
would have been
line.
good for 100 and change this year.
Yeah. Oof. I gotta say, but
So,
that was a favorite Rangers line. The Nedved, Dvorak, and the Jan.
Bouncing off your top 10 though, I'm gonna give you a little something here. I'm gonna agree with you on the Theo Fleury to start her off because obviously for me, 5'4", chip on my shoulder my whole life, rough around the edges, not the best grammar, a little bit of cursing, a lot of fighting. I mean, you watched it. I've grown over the years. I'm still working on it, but he to me was one of my idols. He was out of his goddamn mind. So was I. I mean, just an unbelievable hockey player. Could stick handle inside a paper bag. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. He looked like he was going to stick handle himself into the goalie and then make a pretty deke and go top corner. I mean, you can't get better than Theo Fleury skill wise. I mean, like I said, broke the height barrier for me. You got guys like St. Louis who follow behind him. Next Ranger, St. Louis in my top 10 for sure. Short stint, but brought us all the way to the promised land. We came close. His mother died, and we got to watch an incredible run from him after that happened. And
I forgot about that, dude.
Yeah,
His mother died, and he had like 2 goals that next game.
That was an incredible moment as a Ranger fan to watch what a man could do. So for me, that put him inside my top 10 off the bat.
I forgot he did that. Oh my God, great!
Oh, incredible!
Great point.
To bring a tear to the eye. For sure. Unbelievable. But just to keep it quick here, I'm going to go into Leach. Obviously, a defenseman. I was a defenseman, so I like Brian Leach. That he was incredible as far as, like you said, breaking the points barrier. He followed behind the
made it into the top 6. Couldn't even leave him out of the top 10. Had to bring him in.
Never could. He my favorite defenseman of all time. So then from there, I'm going to go to Tony Amonte. Won the cup with the Rangers. Young guy. Not the biggest, not the smallest. Played tough, played hard, skilled as could be. Could put the puck in the back of the net. Could make a play. Part of my legendary '94 team. Stud, Hall of Famer for sure. I mean, I'm gonna get into Ty Domi. Obviously, as a fighter coming up. As a fighter coming up, I have to put Ty Domi in my top 10. I mean, he's now one of the most well-spoken men you've ever heard. He's an ambassador to the game. His son
family
is
man.
an absolute stud, family man, and couldn't be a better role model for an up-and-coming hockey player. Definitely one of my guys. Like you said before, Adam Graves, I left him out of my top line, but I mean, what a fucking Ranger. He brought me to the promised land. I got to watch him for 10, 12 years before we traded him off to San Jose, and I was sick to my stomach. But what a goal scorer, hard-nosed, in the corners. He'd fight you. He'd kick you. He'd bite you. He'd do anything he could to win, and he's a true Blue Ranger through and through. I mean, you can't get any more Ranger than that. And then to move on, I'm going to go Yager, Richter, and I'm gonna give you a hot take here.
2 more.
I'm gonna give you Colton Orr.
Wow.
And last but not least, Colton Orr, one of the most legendary fighters in the game. This has nothing to do with skill. Just a. Yeah,
we're gonna have to talk about a hot take. I guess that's my hair take. I'm a hair guy. I took the hair guy. You're a fighter.
Colton Orr, just for me, fought the best of the best, never cared, got knocked out, did knocking out, was just a great Ranger. He'd do anything for anybody on his team. Big beer drinking bastard. Met his pops. What a legendary guy. Snuck in his Bud Light cans from outside the garden into the garden and shared a beer with me for free. Saved $12. Got to drink a Bud Light can. I mean, with Colton Orr's dad. He even told me, "Why do you like my son? He stinks." I said, "But he's the best fighter in the game." Guy was an animal and a team player. And my 10th, just because I got to watch him on Easter Sunday retire for good, playing against the Pittsburgh Penguins, who we lost to 2-1. Jaromir Jagr scored the goal in overtime. Never forget the game. Wayne Gretzky obviously got the jersey behind me. Not the most legendary Ranger. We got him in his old age, but I mean, just a moment for me as a kid. I got to watch him wave to the crowd. I was in the Garden, his last game ever, and moment I'll remember forever. So Gretzky for sure.
Listen, the great one is the great one. You know, I just think, you know, kind of like how the NHL, you know, teams retire certain players' numbers. The NHL retired the great ones number, you know, because it's just there's no one that's going to come close. Honestly, if you told me, I think Ovi's a better goal scorer than the great one, right? I don't know if he's going to break the records, everyone's record, but yeah. I mean,
damn close.
Dude, I'm so excited to watch him do more. But yeah, Gretzky. I love throwing Gretzky. You said you were going to throw 5 of your top 6 in there, so I'm happy you kind of mixed it up.
I decided after the comments, the jabs made by my fellow brother, you know, oh, you're going to put 5 of your 5 line from the line into your top 10. So, you know, I went outside the box, throw you Tony Amonte, Colton Orr. I mean, even Gretzky is an outside the box just because he wasn't a longtime Ranger. But for me, legendary moment. Got to watch him play his last game. Played against Jagr and Lemieux to top it. I mean, you know, it was a moment for me. It was incredible. So,
you know,
had to put him at the top 10.
I would have thought that you might have put Marty Straka in there, or maybe Nylander.
I love that line, the Nylander Straka Jagr line. That is a legendary. Even though it was a team that didn't succeed in the playoffs, as far as the regular season went, for 2 or 3 years, that line dominated. Jagr put the puck on Straka's stick through the defense more times than I've ever seen in my life for breakaways. Nylander, what a centerman. I mean, come on. Underrated, not talked about. His son is an absolute weapon. Good-looking kid, just a stud on the ice. I mean, he's a weapon all around. But, you know, when you're that good, I guess you produce studs. I mean, the guy's got legendary semen. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame possibly. And, you know, like I said, I would love to put them in there, but there's just too many great Rangers over that young time. So,
dude,
for me, that line was great. But as a Ranger fan, for the guys I loved so much, there's definitely Rangers I think about before them.
Hey man, that's why we love the Rangers organization. Like, think about how prestigious it is. We could just keep going on about. I just named 10. You named even a few different 10 in there. You had a different 6. I had a different 6. I mean, it's just we've had so many great Rangers over such a period because everyone wants to play in New York. I mean, why wouldn't you? Again, like, it's the mecca of the world and the Garden, the best rink in the country. Like, let's go. You know, it's just
bouncing off this conversation. I mean, you still have. This year, I'm not even using the new team. I mean, look at the guys that came running to New York this year. I mean, obviously we went out and we grabbed Fox in a great deal. We went out, Tony D, another great deal. We got him in, and Panarin came here and signed for 11 sheets a year. What a stud. But Shesterkin, I mean, look at the Rangers. If things keep going the way they're going, we're going to have a whole nother set of Rangers right now. Kako, I mean, didn't have the greatest year, but from what I've heard, swagger in camp, looks great. Looks like he might end up in the top 9, maybe the top 6. I mean, some rumblings out there for you fans, but you know, we got a lot to look forward to going off of, you know, the top 10. We got some young talent here, and things are about to get hectic, and I like to see it.
I can't agree with you more, but just to kind of. You know, I know not everyone out there that's listening to us, and just this podcast, Lighting the Lamp, is not going to be just about Rangers. So anyone out there listening to this, be aware we're not just going to talk Rangers. I think just for episode 1, Miss Ginta and I just wanted to really get into just our love, right? Our love of the game, our love for just really wanting to talk about hockey and the Rangers just to kind of kick it off just because we are Rangers fans. But just to kind of mix it up, I'm gonna hit you with a different question, Mr. Genta. I would say, just because we're hockey fans, even now, I watch probably all the hockey games, no matter who's on TV. It doesn't matter. I don't play fantasy hockey. I just like to watch good hockey. And luckily now, all the teams are pretty good. I mean, everyone has a stud. Everyone has someone you want to watch. Every game has something amazing that happens. It's just hockey, right? And I know as a kid, I used to watch so many other hockey games outside of just the Rangers, force the parents to make sure I could watch all those games. So what was your favorite hockey team outside the Rangers as a kid?
That's a great question, and I'm going to give it to you right now. This is going to be another hot take. Honestly, the 2011 Boston Bruins. Probably one of my favorite teams to watch, especially after, that series down 3-0 in the Cup. You come back, you win 4-3, you win the series, you win the Cup. Never forget the moment when Greg Campbell blocked the big shot. He broke his leg. And he stumbled around out there like a legend, ended the shift with another block shot, headed back to the bench, and I'm not positive. I don't want to sound like an idiot because I'm not Stat Guy Wit here from Fit and Chicklets, but I'm pretty sure that he blocked that shot in Game 6 and also blocked another one, broken leg. Didn't play Game 7, but they went on to win the Cup, and the boys were buzzing after he did that. But that team was just hard-nosed. You had Greg Campbell, Sean Thornton. I mean, top line, you had Krejci, Bergeron, Marchand. I mean, the list goes on. But for me, those guys like Greg Campbell and Sean Thornton, the fourth line, hard-nosed guys. I mean, the way they played the game, that fourth line, Daniel Paille, Sean Thornton, and Greg Campbell, honestly could very well be the best fourth line in the history of the sport. They were fucking incredible. And I hate to say that I like the Boston team while I followed the Rangers.
I was going to say,
I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but as a hockey fan, I mean, that team was just something special. To beat the Sedins down 3-0, you take it from two sure shot Hall of Famers, never got to win the Cup, got it ruined by the Boston Bruins. And honestly, if they would have won that Cup, I'd probably be telling you the 2011 Vancouver Canucks right now, because that year was just a great playoff, a great finish. I love the Canucks. And just what the Bruins did was incredible. So for me, that run, watching them do that, that made them a fan favorite. If I watch another East Coast team, I won't root for them. But I don't mind if they win. I like watching the Bruins still to today.
100%, dude. I don't think the Bruins ever disappoint in putting people on the ice, because every time they put a team out there, they are a hard-nosed, hard-hitting, hard-fought, and a great goal-scoring hockey club. I got to say, they always put a really good set of hockey players together. It doesn't feel good to say that, but I mean, when you see a hockey player take a shot, break his leg, stand up on the other leg, and then play a shift out
and block another shot
and block more shots, and then even get your stick into passing lanes, and you're already a man down on a penalty kill. What he did was unfucking believable. Like,
and that is why I bring to you the 2011 Boston Bruins, mainly because of that moment. It made me I always knew you know me, I'm a hard-nosed hockey guy. For me, I'm go to the corners, fight when you got to fight, block shots, good first pass. My best skilled year was that Wildcat year we talked about. Other than that, you look at my last years at juniors, 40 games played, 1 goal, 10 assists, 136 penalty minutes. I love what the Bruins bring to the table. They always have skill, but they always play hockey the way hockey was born to be played. And that is it. And that 2011 team solidified that for me. So for me, I'm going to go with the 2011 Bruins. Let's kick it to you. I have an idea where you're going to go. I'm not 100%, but let's hear it. Let's hear it.
Dude, you 100% know where I'm going to go. My number almost all my life, other than, the jersey behind me and the Wildcats here, because I got beat out by it because always veteran status, all that garbage.
Veteran first, even though you had 50-something points. But that's a topic for another day.
2001 Colorado Avalanche, my favorite team of all time. I mean, my favorite player of all time is Peter Forsberg. 21 was the number because he was my guy. He was
Is that
the
the
guy.
Ray Bork year?
Dude, that was the Ray Bork year. That was the Stanley Cup year. So you have Patrick Waugh,
Yeah, that could be in my list
Joe
too.
Sakic, Peter Forsberg, Milan Hajduk, Alex Tanguay, Adam Foote, Rob Blake, Ray Borg, Adam Deadmarsh, Chris Drury early. And Chris Drury is also our player development specialist.
Another guy that I probably could have put in my Rangers top 10, but let's stay on that topic.
And then Martin Skukala and then Shane Padon. Like, it's just like, what were the Devils supposed to do in that cup? Like, I don't care you had Gomez. I don't care that you had Niedermeyer. I don't care that you had all these fucking players. You weren't going to beat that team, dude. And you had Marty Brodeur, great. But, like, that team was probably one of the most roster-baiting worthy teams of all time. And I got to say, I loved watching them take the ice. I mean, when you watch Forsberg, I mean, I love Forsberg's play. Like, there was no one that could catch him, touch him. He'd skate around you, skate through you, do whatever it took, and he was skilled. He would crush you, and he was skilled. He had everything.
Peter Forsberg was great everywhere he played, including the Philadelphia Flyers. What a stud. I mean, you couldn't pick a better team to go towards the end of this podcast and what we're talking about. I mean, what a legendary lineup. Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic, Peter Forsberg. The list goes on. I mean,
Ray Bork is the best defenseman of all time.
Their third and fourth line had studs on. Milan Hajduk, Alex Tanguay. I mean, come on. What an incredible team to pick. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. Could have easily put them as my number one, but know you're a big old-time Avalanche guy, and I wanted to throw it outside the box like I usually do and bring a little something different.
Listen, I love your choice just because, again, what you said, that one play is probably everything.
Changed my view on Boston Bruin hockey forever.
Forever. And honestly, it encompasses what hockey's about. You know, you will sacrifice every part of your body
for the better of the team.
For the better of the team. And I don't know if that translates across all sports. I think football really inherits that just because I mean, when you look at an offensive lineman and some of these guys that have to just get brutalized every game, like all they're doing is putting their bodies and their lives on the line for their team. And that's what you respect. And that's what I love and respect about hockey. You know, you wish you'd see it just a little bit more in some other sports, but you know, it's not the same.
That's why we love the sport we love.
That's why we love the sport we love, right? That's what.
I mean, it brings a different element to sports than anything. Even the football guys, you talk to NBA guys, anything, they always say, look at what these hockey guys do. They kill each other between the fighting and the hitting. It's an all-game experience. And even now, it's a finesse game, but you get the body finished on you 10, 15 times a game. I'm a defenseman. When a team like my Rockets team that we played on, 2-1-2. When you're dumping the puck and chasing two guys on the D-man, try being the D-man. I mean, it's an incredible sport. Something that the reason we're talking about this podcast and we're having this podcast is to bring awareness to how great this sport is. I mean, you don't realize what these guys go through shift by shift. A guy gets a puck dumped on him. He's got two guys bearing down on him, 6'3", burying him in the corner. That hurts. He might not go down. It might not look like it hurts, but when you're hitting plastic boards and glass, it doesn't feel good. And it's a long game. It's 60 minutes. You get out there for 15, 20 of them, see how you feel tomorrow.
Oh, God, I love this sport.
We went good here. This was a great start to what we're looking to bring to the game. And
I mean, it just excites you, right? I'm excited. I'm excited just talking about these teams. I mean, talking about some of our favorite teams of all time and why the sport excites you. It just brings me back to right now. Like right now, and why I'm so excited about the Rangers today, right? We haven't even started talking about our squad today. You touched on it a little bit, but like not nearly.
Well, we're going to get there. Episode 2 is going to have plenty of today's New York Rangers.
Well, we're going to preview against the Hurricanes, but I do want to say, you know, things are about to set off. I mean, it's tomorrow. Tomorrow, playoff starts. So let's just talk, you and I, about what we're so excited about this Rangers team, this current Rangers team. We're going back. I know, fans, we moved away to the other teams for a little bit. I just want to end it just on a little bit more of Rangers talk, the current team. We're going to do a slight preview today of the New York Rangers before we talk about all the qualifying games, because episode 2 is going to include a preview of all the qualifying games, Mr. Ginta and my thoughts just about what we think is going to happen. We're going to give you guys even a little preview about what we think the series are going to end in, but that will be episode 2. But for right now, let's just talk. Let's finish off on the Rangers, and then we even have a little gambling corner for everybody else. So,
oh, yes, we do. So for me, I mean, listen, it doesn't get more exciting than right now with these New York Rangers. You got Artemi Panarin. We re-signed Chris Kreider to a big ticket. You got Tony D, Adam Fox, Capo Caco, second overall pick somehow, some way. I mean, we're still in the running, whether we win or lose versus Carolina for a first overall pick. It is a more exciting time than ever to be a Ranger fan. We got 3 goalies, starting with Igor Shesterkin, Henrik Lundqvist, and Alex Georgiev. Each of them could easily play in the playoff series. I mean, it's more exciting a time than it's ever been for the New York Rangers right now.
I'm pumped, but I would even go beyond your 3 goalie thing, and I would say we have 5 tenders, and that's a hot take for you. I'm going to light that lamp real quick for you, Mr. Gento.
5 tendies?
5 tenders. We have Henrik Lundqvist, but we're going to lose his contract in a year. We have Igor Shesterkin, stud, going to inherit the title. We have Alexander Georgiev. We have Tyler Wall, who is, I think, was one of the finalists for the Hobey Baker Trophy winner this year, or the Hobey Baker Trophy winner this year in the NCAA. He was rated the number 1 tender out of all goaltenders in the NCAA, had the best goals against average, and I don't know if he had the most shutouts, but he was one of the top 5 finalists for that award. So we have the best goaltender coming out of the NCAA, coming into our program, and Jeff Gordon even spoke a lot of praise of Adam Huska, our other goaltender over in Hartford. So, it's not just like we have schleps behind the top 3 goaltenders that we're already carrying. We have one of the best prospect tenders in Tyler Wall, and we have Adam Huska. It is unbelievable. Who's on the Rangers that is picking tenders? Because they are probably one of the best goaltender evaluators in the entire history.
Get him while there, man. Lundqvist coach. He's a genius. He loves goalies. He loves skill. He knows everything about. He's one of the best. Him and Mitch Korn, top 2 in the league by far. I mean, obviously they're taking advice from him because he picked Lundqvist when he came to New York. He asked them to take Lundqvist with the 7th round pick.
All these goalies have gone in later than 5 rounds.
Is a first round pick.
Yeah. All these goaltenders, Igor should have been a first round pick. I think we got him in the 4th or 5th round. There's not a first round pick that we've ever taken as a goaltender, and we're still smoking the league. The league is funny because they're all looking for goaltenders. And think about it. We have these 5 goaltenders, and we had to already ship off Antti Ranta and Cam Talbot, who, when Lundy was hurt or Lundy had to sit out for any type of rest, any type of issue, there was that one year where Lundy was hurt for half a season. Cam Talbot stood on his head all season.
And went and got the ticket from Edmonton.
We shipped off 2 solid tenders and then had 4 more.
And we all cried for what we got back from Edmonton and ended up with 4 more tendies anyway. We didn't need Talbot. And he ended up being mediocre to begin with.
Correct.
Mediocre starter. Everybody said, get rid of Lundqvist, keep Talbot. You can't. Listen, even today, as much as I want Igor Shesterkin to play in the playoffs, you can't deny the Hank. It just can't be done. Hank, I love you. I know that you aren't what you used to be, but, I mean,
we believe in blue, and you're the heart of that, baby.
You're the heart of that. You're one of the true blue left, from Zuccarello getting traded, McDonough getting traded, JT Miller getting traded, the whole core. I mean, we got rid of everybody.
We have Kreider, Fost, and Lundqvist. I don't think there's another name on the roster.
And even Fost is in the middle of that. Those guys were the core. Kreider and Lundqvist are the original core.
Right.
Fost came in a couple of years after that. Those guys have been here from the go.
Right.
From the go. And for me, as a New York Ranger fan, win or lose, you got to give Hank game 1 tomorrow. I'm praying they do it. I'd even be okay with them giving Shesterkin game 1 for how young he is and letting Hank get another practice or 2 in. But Hank's got to take the helm. We got to give him his swan song, win or lose, for sure.
I think win or lose. I think we believe in Hank, and unfortunately for Hank, and goaltenders in general, I would say they need the shots. They need to see the puck. They need to feel the puck. They need to feel the puck hit them. They need to move side to side. They need to get hot, right? And it sucks that they're kind of cold right now. They're coming in only one game, but if I had to pick a goaltender, I think we run with Hank. We give him that last season. We believe in him. We put everything behind him. This team is so exciting. It's something that we didn't have in 2015 that I think, especially if Hank plays out of his mind, stands on his head, there was no reason that we shouldn't have a chance to be sitting in the Cup Finals.
Without a doubt, and going off that, I'm going to give you, we've gone off about the New York Rangers today. We've given the fans a little bit about us and everything else that we like about hockey and everything else in life. And for me, I think it's time to head into the old betting corner here, where we're going to give you a little something for Saturday. I'm not going to go crazy because we do have episode 2 coming up, and we're going to give the playoff previews, and I'm going to give you my lines and who I like for 4 of the 8 games. I'm going to give you my bets for tomorrow and Sunday. Today, we're gonna top it off with more Rangers. Me and the Dola, a.k.a. Beer Dola, a.k.a. Flo Dola, are going to take the New York Rangers 300 to win, plus 4,000 Rangers to win the Stanley Cup. I'm going to go to Monmouth Park in the morning. You'll see on all our content, Instagram, Twitter, I'll post a ticket. We're going to go after the Rangers. We're going to try and win 12,000 here. Maybe take a nice vacation with the ladies. Got a baby on the way, a few things. So we're going to drop 300 here to win. Rangers plus 4,000 for the Cup. That's the hot take here. Obviously, we're diehard Ranger fans. No matter what happens, screw the $300. But we believe in blue. We're coming for the 12 grand. And last but not least, obviously, you're going to agree with me here. We're probably going to split a nice ticket for tomorrow, 12 p.m. sharp, 9 a.m. California time. We're going to take the Rangers plus 120 to beat Carolina for the simple fact 4-0 over the last year, 10-2 over the last 3. Carolina's not ready for the boys. We're buzzing. We're young. We're ready to go. Hank in net, Shesterkin in net, doesn't matter. Tony D, Fox, Kako, Panarin, Zibanejad, we are ready to fly. We're going to take the Rangers at plus 120 tomorrow afternoon, boys. And that's what we're going for here as far as gambling.
Listen, fans, if you need any more convincing here, all I'm going to tell you is a little bit of a story. We're going to light the lamp one more time, but believe in the Rangers. Believe this is going to happen because all I'm saying, we're putting 300 down to win 12,000. We believe in the Rangers. We believe in Hank. We believe in this team. And there is evidence to prove it. There are multiple games that, in 2015 we didn't have that we have now. Mika Zibanejad scoring 5 goals to beat the Capitals in March down the stretch. We will not be denied. Think about back in Thanksgiving time, 11-23. We were down 4-0 against the Habs. We came back to beat them 6-5 in regulation.
2 tucks, baby.
In regulation. Listen, the last time we went for the Cup, we had the 2015 team. We had a great team, but guess what? If we put 2 goals, we had to be up 2 goals in the third period to win the game. We had one of the worst power plays ever in the league at the time and somehow made it into playoffs. But this time, right now, we have one of the best power plays in the league. We have some of the hottest goal scorers in the league. I'm telling you, we're coming for some hardware. And we believe in this bet. We believe in blue. But guess what? It's going to be hot. And if we win this bet, you better believe we're lighting the lamp. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, it's been great. And on that note, we're going to finish up here. But, with that 12,000, if the Rangers do win the Cup, me and the Beer Dola here, we're going to offer the experience of a lifetime, a place that we go every year. We go with our wives. We go alone. We've had bachelor parties there. We just go there to party. It's our meeting spot. Timmy lives in California. Mr. Beer Dola.
It's a great hockey
I live
spot
in New Jersey. It's a great hockey town now. Mr. Beer Dola's had the chance to go to a game there versus the Rangers with his pops. What a legendary atmosphere from what I hear. But we're going to end on this note. If the Rangers win the Stanley Cup at plus 4,000, the boys will be taking one of our listeners to Vegas for 2 nights on us, flight, everything, food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, alcohol, booze, going out to the clubs, the bars, on us. We're going to try and do it on a Ranger game weekend. So We'll be attending the game together. And listen, take the bet with us and let's run with it. If the Rangers win it, boys, we're going to have a nice raffle. We're going to take one of these lucky fans out with us to Vegas and show them what it's all about.
That's the lamp bet right there. Lighten the lamp. We're going to fire it up with a $300 bet to win $12,000. If you like, share, and comment on this, we will put you into a raffle in order to see who we might take to Vegas. And if you can't come to Vegas, we'll do a cash prize buyout option, just because, you know, not everyone, you know, might want to take a trip or might be a little scared or intimidated to take a trip with the boys. But let me tell you, it's going to be a great time, and definitely want the experience over the cash. So, I mean, thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate everyone listening in. Hope you had a good time just listening to us shoot the shit, talk some Rangers, talk a little bit other about hockey, talk a little bit about the Rangers now, and just have a little gambling corner. Hopefully excite you guys, and hopefully you'll come back and listen to episode 2. Episode 2 will all be about the previews coming in tomorrow for all the qualifying games, so tune in. We'll have our thoughts there. We'll have our thoughts on the series predictions, maybe a couple bets for you boys to place in the morning, and we'll be off to the races and running. But again, thank you for tuning in, and it's been a great time lighting the lamp with you, Mr. Genta.
Salute, pal. It's been a great episode. I couldn't be happier to get going, and you know, let's give the boys something good for episode 2. We'll see you soon, fans.
We'll see you soon, guys.
Salute.
Great talking to you.